All righty. All righty. So we are recording. So welcome to the Chamber Talk Show this afternoon. We are going to focus on someone who I call an overcomer. She was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer, aggressive form of cancer, some years ago, but she's here to talk to us about her story. I'm Dr. Tomekia Manning, joined by Dr. April Givens, a licensed therapist, and we have Brandi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, Brandi. Welcome to the
Thank you
show.
so much for having me. I'm super excited to finally talk to everybody and engage and talk to your viewers.
Well, tell us your story. You kind of briefly gave us some background. I find it amazing that your story is one that can offer hope to other people who have similar situations or any other situation. Mindset is so big. So talk to us a little bit about what happened with you.
Of course. So I was diagnosed with a very rare and aggressive cancer back in 2009, which is about 12 years ago, roughly. So initially, the doctors were not sure about the prognosis that I had. A lot of people had the pessimistic mind frame of what the outcome could potentially be. So I was looking kind of towards the death side of things. I guess you could say, according to some of the doctors, they thought that it might have spread to my lungs, my spinal cord, to my brainstem. They didn't know how much longer I would have if it did spread to those areas, but thank God it didn't metastasize. But it definitely came to a point where I had to focus more on how I was feeling and what the outlook I wanted to have versus what the doctors in the prognosis and the papers and the statistics all said that this type of cancer was. So I definitely learned that it's just, don't always believe in what it is that you see. You should definitely incorporate how your emotions are, what you're feeling, and what your goals are at the end of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And for me, that was health. For me, it was my life, and I wanted to live to see the next day. So I had to change my mind frame. And I don't want to say I wasn't listening to the doctors, but I definitely wasn't entertaining the idea of death. I wanted to prove them wrong and to prove myself right, that I had it in me to fight all the way till the end.
Tell us the name of the cancer again.
Oh, yes. It was called Ewing sarcoma cancer. And so that type of cancer spreads to your lungs, your spinal cord, your brainstem, and it affects about 60,000 people worldwide. So the UK, Asia, America, everywhere, South America. So about 60,000 people a year will get that type of cancer, and about 15,000 of them will make it past their 5-year mark. So it's really important that you make it to the 5-year mark, and if you don't, it's definitely very hard on the family and the individual going through that, because it's a lot. It's a big cancer for metastasizing and spreading elsewhere to the body.
Well, you got the original diagnosis, and I'll let Dr. April jump in just a second. What were your thoughts? How did you feel?
I was sad. I felt like I was being cheated out of life. I felt very angry. I felt very lost. I even felt like, could this be my karma? Like, could I have been such a bad person in my life that this is what I get, or like, like karma, like, give what you put out. So I was really just trying to put the pieces together because I didn't understand why this was happening to me. I'm 24 years old. I just got into the military. I hadn't quite finished with college yet. I'm really just starting my career and my life. Why is this now happening to me? And I'm just starting out, and I have so much more of my life to continue with this. So why was this happening to me? I was just really questioning what was the purpose of all of it. And now I realize what it is now. But then it was just really just trying to figure out, did I deserve this? Did I do something to get this? Was God mad at me? Like, I really couldn't understand what it was. So just lots of questions.
Okay. So now, after all of this is over, what is it that you realize about it?
Yes, I realized that we're all going to be going through so much in life, so much adversity. There's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be lots of different trials, tribulations, whatever it is, you know, rough waters. But for me, I feel like I went through this to be a pillar to the cancer community and let them know that, yes, you might be facing a really horrible prognosis or type of cancer. However, your life isn't over. Just because cancer has happened to you doesn't mean that you still can't live a happy, full, joyous life, because you can. I have done so much in life after cancer. It has truly propelled me onto a path that's like unlimitless. There's no stopping me. I don't care if I don't know how to get somewhere, I'm gonna try, because I know that life is ticking. I know that tomorrow is not promised, the next minute is not promised. So I'm just so focused, and I'm so ambitious, and I have so much drive in me now that hopefully I'm able to translate that to the cancer community and let them know that we have a second chance at life, and let's make it worth it.
I love what you told yourself. You built up your faith within yourself, and then you joined teams with someone, which I think is awesome. Your mother was your support system.
Yes.
So what would you tell people that are dealing with similar situations? Because to me, it looks like you had someone to support you and to hold your hand and to help speak life into your situation.
Yes, I think it's really important to have people who are not only in your corner and support you, but you feel comfortable being vulnerable with them, that you are able to be your true self, because you need to have vulnerability to find the beautiful and asking for help, because that's a really hard thing in the world right now, to ask for help and let people see you at your lowest point, and to accept them helping you or giving you advice or pouring into you. So I just found that that's a beautiful combination, to accept the help, to be vulnerable, to have that, but then also for that individual to be there for you, to pour into you and let you know that things are going to be okay. So having a strong support system is definitely key, because for me, I had my mom there the entire time, from February 2009 all the way to December 2009 timeframe. We were in the hospital together. She quit her job. She left the house. She moved from Texas and came with me in Washington, D.C., and lived with me the entire time. So I saw all the other patients that were there. They didn't have any support system. They had to work, or they had kids, and a lot of them, they didn't make it. And I wonder if it's because they didn't have that strong support system there for them during those moments that they really, really needed somebody. You know, I always question it, and I wonder if that was like the determining key to survival and living. But I know for me, for just me, not the aspect of living, just for like my personal emotions, like it was something I really truly needed during a time when I felt lost. I need someone to guide me. When I felt down, I need someone to pick me up. So I definitely feel like a strong support system and a community is so important. If you can't have your mother or your friend there, now there's social media. You can join different groups, and you can ask questions and, you know, things like that. So I just feel like it's important to have an outreach.
Okay.
I think one thing you mentioned that was really important, that what changed for you with the whole situation, was your mind frame. You know, I think mental health is so important when you're diagnosed with anything physical, because if you can stay positive throughout and have that hope, you know, it can work wonders in your body from a physical standpoint. So tell us about that, with you changing your mind frame and just being more positive and having hope that, hey, I'm going to survive this.
Yes, so I always say that cancer is a more of a mental game than it is physical, because cancer strips you of all of your physical strength, like everything. You will be so weak that you can't even sign yourself out of the hospital, because that's how it was for me. I was extremely, and all I had was my mindset. And the only way you can floor it or feed that, and to live an optimistic or a fulfilled life, is to constantly be poured into with optimism, optimistic things, or individuals that understand what your vision is, they're also aligned with you and helping you out in that mind. So I had therapists, I had physical therapy, I had doctors towards the end, of course, when everybody realized that I was gonna be making it. But I think it's extremely important also to acknowledge that your pain is real, that what you're feeling is real. If you're feeling depressed or sad or down, I feel like it's important to acknowledge that and to say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Why am I feeling like this? But I don't think it's a great idea to dwell in that time frame for X amount of time. I think it's important to acknowledge it. Yes, you're not feeling well, you're not having the best day for a couple of days, but you can't stay in that mind frame, because you're supposed to get better, get well when your mind controls everything. And if your mind is not well and not happy or not positive, you're not going to be fulfilling that path that you're on, that you want to have.
Yeah, love it. And biblically in the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is. And so the thoughts, we know they're super powerful. For me, even going through anything emotional, there are times, it's life, people are going to have situations. What do you actually do to tide you over? Like if you're having a bad day, what do you engage in? What type of activities? What's therapy for you?
I work out a lot, but on the days that I don't feel like doing anything, or I feel like I'm not as happy as I should be, I just let myself feel it. I just know that there's a time frame. If it's going to be a couple of days, then it'll be a couple of days, but it's not going to be longer than a week. I'm not going to give myself this huge pity party, because that's not where I see myself. So being strong and being encouraging and being optimistic and positive. And I can't live two totally different lives if I'm speaking something else, but I'm living something totally different. But I feel all those emotions, and I have to figure out why and where this is all coming from. So I just meditate on it and pray on it, and just kind of do a lot of reflection of what's going on and why am I feeling these issues or these feelings.
So I love that. So you pull back and just meditate and just go into maybe a secluded place. I like that as well. Dr. April, I know you, of course, have all of your clients and they have gone through similar situations. What is your focus mostly when you're talking to them?
Well, like she said, which is really good, she practiced meditation. That's very important. Also, journaling is really good, to really hone in on those thoughts, writing those things down, how you feel, going back and reflecting on that. Writing is a subjective process, and it's really good because you can release a lot of those feelings and those emotions. And sometimes when you go back and you read those things that you write, it's a ha-ha moment. It's like, okay, wow. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I was going through at the time, and now I get it. So it kind of helps you sometimes process that, and you have all your answers right there.
Right, that's true. I did a lot of journaling too when I was going through my treatment as well. And actually, I made my journal into a book, and that's how I ended up publishing my book, The Enemy Inside Me.
What's the book, so we can actually go out there and purchase it? What is it?
It's called The Enemy Inside Me.
Okay. I love it. I also love the fact that, of course, I follow you on social media, and you can actually give that information in a minute. But I see that you're taking something that tried to take you out, and you're using it to help so many people. I see you speaking about it. I see you touching lives. And I think a lot of times when we do experience something in life, we don't understand that it is not for us, but it's for others, and it's to help other people overcome. So that's why I said this is like the overcoming.
Yes, I definitely agree. And I feel like it's so important that people talk and people share their information in their stories, because there's so much healing and hope from stories. To see somebody thriving after a traumatic event, whether that's a car accident, a bad relationship, or a drug addiction, to see them know that they had a downfall or a part where that they felt hindered, and now they've overcome that. And then what did they learn? Like, what are the signs of that? How'd you overcome it? So sharing this information is not only to get it, to share it with the world, but it's also to teach people what to look out for. What are the symptoms, So I just feel like it's my duty now to let people know, because it's such a rare cancer and a lot of people don't know about it. What are the symptoms? What does it look like? What happens when it does pop up? What's the trend like? Yes, the prognosis says you won't live past 5 years. However, I did. Not everybody is statistic. Statistics are extremely impersonal, and everybody is an individual.
I love it. All right. So
Mhm.
the overcoming. Were you going to add, Dr. April?
No, it's just amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give us your information for your social media platforms.
Yes, of course. So you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Brandi L Benson. And then on Instagram, it's at Brandi L Benson. And then it's the same for everything. BrandiLBenson.com and Brandi L Benson on Facebook.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being with us today.
Yes.
We really hope that it impacts someone, it helps someone, it gives someone hope. So we never know who we're going to reach whenever we're, using this platform to for the Chamber Talk Show. But we appreciate you joining us today. We will, of course, be in touch.
Yes.
We'll go out and purchase the book so that we can get more information about your story. But again, we thank you so much for joining us. Dr. April always ends the show for us on a note. She gives us positive affirmations, and we know positive words are important. So, Dr. April.
Well, the simple affirmation for today is I can overcome anything that I put my mind to.
I love it. I can overcome. All right. So, Brandi, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us as well. Have an awesome day.